a look at this member today. As usual, I'll reveal his current rating, his potential rating, the estimated time frame that it will take him to achieve that potential rating, and the exact looksmaxxing plan that I've given him inside the community based on his unique face and the aim for his particular case. So he's currently around a 4.5, maybe you could argue a 4.75, so average, but I would say very, very slightly below average looking. And if you have a look at his side profile, you might also be leaning more towards the unattractive side if you were originally thinking average yourself. At the moment, this is a very interesting case because he has a bad combination of juvenility and also a middle-aged look. If you have a look at how he looks with glasses, as you can see, this is a lot more unappealing and it really adds to the overall middle-aged look that I was just talking about. So with his looksmaxxing plan, this is the aim. So everything mentioned in the plan takes this into consideration. And of course, everyone's plan is completely different. There's no copy paste, one size fits all. If you didn't already know, I own the first and only personalized community for improving your looks. So every member gets his own fully unfiltered facial analysis from me personally. Someone that has over 5 years of experience doing this. They get their own custom looksmaxxing plan for their unique face, so no more guesswork. One-on-one support with me, so they never feel lost or alone. And all of my fully personalized guides. These are the only personalized guides available. When it comes to improving your looks, it's not a one-size-fits-all job, and that's where a lot of courses and communities fall short. It's just something made to sell and doesn't take into consideration the fact that everyone looks different and everyone has different flaws to fix. So once you know which flaws you need to fix, it becomes incredibly easy. And that ties back to the aim of this member. To fix this juvenile and middle-aged combination, we want to add masculine dimorphism to counter the neoteny. So dimorphism is the sexually mature signaling that a person does or doesn't have, and it's the best way to counter neotenous or juvenile looking face. That's the first aim. The second aim with this member is to add youth. I know it sounds like it contradicts what I've just said, but it's different. Youth and neoteny are not the same thing. So we want to add signals of youth as well to counter the older man look. So let's just go straight into it. If we have a look at his side profile, you can see that the skull is very rounded. This signals very high juvenility. It's very childlike. The sloped, rounded skull appearance from the side profile, this is not ideal. So tying back with the aim of reducing the juvenility, we want to reduce this rounded, sloped appearance. And easiest way to do that is with hair. So these are the suggestions that I gave this member for hair. This is going to be crucial for this member, not only for that reason, but also for many other reasons. It's going to add signals of youth as well, because at the moment the hair is very aged looking, and these hairstyles are going to significantly improve the balance of his overall appearance. I forgot to mention, but after following this entire looksmaxxing plan, he has a potential rating of anywhere from a 6 to a 6.5, which is noticeably attractive. Linking back in with the hair, at the moment his hairstyle is currently unideal. It's boring, it's plain, it adds nothing to his face. That's one of the main purposes of hair. It's not just something on your head, it should have an aesthetic intention. The intention for hair is to adding youth, character, countering disproportion, balancing anything out of balance. If you just have a buzz cut or similar length to this hair here, it's firstly not going to add anything to your appeal. But in most cases, just like this case, it will negatively affect your appeal and hurt your physical attraction. This hair is going to easily blend this member into the crowd of other guys who have this exact same boring looking hair. This is not trying to be harsh, this is just saying it how it is, and luckily it's very easy to just grow your hair. It requires zero effort, just a little bit of patience and also tolerance to the awkward phases that you can expect, as it will look bad at some points, but you just got to push through it, be patient, and the end result is always going to be worth it if you've identified that the hair is something that you need to improve. This hair improvement is going to be essential for this member. It's night and day, definitely, and a driving factor for his potential and his potential rating. A lot of the time frame is made up of this hair growth. Of course it takes time, and to be at that true potential rating, the hair needs to be in perfect form. And when we link appeal with hair, his hair is currently not female gaze at all. It's definitely not appealing at all. Some of the other aesthetic issues that the hair will address are the tops of the ears. So as you can see, the ears look a little bit unideal, kind of like pointy. There's a bit too little visibility of the ears. It could be linked in with lens distortion, but ideally we want the tips of these ears to be concealed. Finally, if we have a look at his side profile, you can see that the forehead is a little bit protruded, a little bit rounded. This is adding to his neotenous appearance, and having some hair coming down onto the forehead to conceal this slightly is definitely going to be a step in the right direction. If we have a look at his skin, and this is holding him back a lot here, funnily enough, this acne has completely cleared since he started the phase 1 diet, which is great. If you don't already know about the phase 1 diet, it's outlined in my facial definition guide, which is completely free. You can get it in the video description below. This is all cleared completely since he started in only a week from starting. I've recommended that this member sticks to this phase 1 diet completely throughout his transformation. It's not only going to help with the acne, which it already has, but also the texture, the rough texture of the skin. It's going to help with that due to increased skin cell turnover from the surplus of vitamin A in a diet. But also, on top of that, I've recommended that he starts microneedling for this texture. A lot of people do microneedling wrong. They think more is better, and that's not the case. Instead of doing it multiple times a month, I highly recommend that you do once every 4 to 5 weeks. This is to allow for a full cycle of collagen synthesis and not disrupt or hinder the process or the cycle whatsoever. An intense session of depth anywhere from 0.5 millimeter to a full millimeter, depending on the area that you do it. But this is going to help a lot because the skin looks a little bit rough and could be smoother. The next thing in his plan is the eye region, starting with the eyebrows. As you can see, they could definitely be a lot darker and have significantly more density as they're looking very sparse. The first thing that I recommended him is to dye them to increase the perceived density, and also in the background either use minoxidil or castor oil to increase the density. But also I wouldn't be completely against a eyebrow transplant for this member as well, as they do significantly lack density and is adding to his juvenile appearance. Also with the eyebrows, they look a little bit too high set, and this is linking in with his upper eyelid exposure here, so reducing their height will be important for him as well. And this is with the frontalis work within the course. So as mentioned, linking with the upper eyelid exposure, this member has around 0.5 millimeter of too much upper eyelid exposure, so reducing the upper eyelid exposure by around 0.5 millimeter is the aim, which will obviously link him, as mentioned, with lowering the eyebrows, and I directed him to the eye area guide. If we look at the lower eyelids, we have a very slight amount of scleral show here, which is not ideal, and we want to remove this completely, so tightening the lower eyelids is part of his plan. Making the eyes look more narrow, more masculine, more piercing is the aim here, and this also helps to add masculine dimorphism and counter the juvenile look, as currently they do look a little bit deactivated and they're adding unwanted height to the eyes. And finally, for the eye area, increasing the visibility of the eyelashes is something that this member should do. So castor oil for the fullness and also a dye to match the eyebrows as well. So the next step for his plan for now is to remove the facial hair, as it looks a bit thin, a bit sparse, and isn't really doing what it needs to be doing. I have advised this member to hop on topical minoxidil, as this will, once fully developed, actually look very good and help to counter the neoteny and add some masculine dimorphism to his appearance. Realistically, this will take anywhere from 8 to 12 months to see very noticeable improvement with the development. Most people see improvement within the first 3 to 4 months, but a lot of these hairs are just transitional, and to see a great density of terminal hairs, 8 to 12 months is typically when this becomes very noticeable. A disconnected goatee for this member would be very good, but a general stubble as well would be appealing also. Linking back in with neoteny, he's currently very bloated, and it looks like he has some excess body fat as well, which is leading to a very loose looking submental region. This bloating is adding this roundness to the face, which is adding to his juvenility. So obviously I've suggested that he follows the phase 1 diet to completely debloat and to also completely remove any excess facial fat. The aim is to get down to 10 to 12% body fat, and this is a body fat percentage range that really makes the facial definition and angularity stand out, which is a highly sexually dimorphic trait, which signals the high sexual maturity very well, which of course is essential. You can see that from the side profile, his jaw looks a little bit undeveloped, a little bit narrow, so developing it will help to improve his appeal, as it's currently hurting him a little bit. The next thing I forgot to mention before moving on to the final stuff are the dark eye circles. These look a little bit more like hollow dark eye circles, so working on this will improve his appeal, as it's currently making him look slightly tired and aged. If you have dark eye circles watching this video and you want to know exactly which type of dark eye circles you have, because there are multiple, and they can also be working together to add that darkness and noticeability to your under eye region, I have a guide below which is completely free. You can download it and start applying the information inside to see a significant reduction in this under eye darkness. You may have already caught onto this, but the neck looks noticeably thin for the head and the jaw. This is adding to his neoteny, as a a larger looking head in comparison to the neck and the shoulders is going to make you look more childlike, more juvenile, as this is very closely associated with an infantile appearance. If you're struggling with this loose, bulgy under chin or submental region, firstly you want to reduce excess facial fat, you want to debloat completely, you want to tighten the skin around this region and of this region, and you want to make sure that the muscles are completely activated. All of these are covered in the facial definition guide, and it's very important that you also really prioritize the mewing mentioned in the guide as well. Mewing is really good for soft tissue development and activation, especially the submental region. What you can do to train your subconscious to mew constantly is hard mewing, and hard mewing is just simply mewing but pushing the tongue against your palate. This is going to help to directly train the submental muscles. Finally, his cheekbones lack noticeable development and definition, more closely linking in with the zygomatic arch. There's no clear development here. So as he leans down and also debloats, this is going to improve. But also with the hairstyles and overall look that I've suggested, this will help to slightly conceal this region, which will help to subconsciously take away attention from this lack of development. And of course, finally, I've suggested that this member switches from glasses to contacts and laser eye surgery. It's also a very popular intervention to consider. This guy's got really insane potential. It's just about time for him to send in his month's progress, and at the time of this recording, I'm expecting to receive some progress photos from him as part of his month's progress check to see how he's getting on, and also make any priority tweaks if needed, and make sure that the momentum that he's had in his first month is carried on to his next. Cool. Thanks for watching.